It's 11 p.m. Rahul checks his email one more time. His heart stops. Visa denied. His parents sold land back home. The university fee is already paid. His friends are celebrating their approvals. He sits there, staring at the screen, wondering what went wrong. If you're planning to study in the USA on an F1 visa, this is happening to more students than ever before in 2026. And today, I'm going to tell you exactly why, and more importantly, how you can avoid becoming another rejection statistic. So let's talk about the F1 visa first. It's basically a student visa that lets international students come to the United States to study at universities or colleges. Every year, hundreds of thousands of students from countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nigeria, China, and many others apply for this visa. For most families, this is a huge investment. It's not just money, it's hope, it's dreams, it's years of planning. But something has changed in 2026. Rejection rates are going up, not just by a little bit. We're seeing students with good grades, strong bank statements, and university acceptances still getting rejected. And the worst part, most of them don't even know why. Let me tell you what's really going on. First, weak study plans. Now, this sounds simple, but it's the biggest killer. Officers at the embassy want to know why you chose this specific program, at this specific university, at this specific time. They want to hear your story. But what happens instead? Students memorize generic answers. They say things like, I want to study computer science because technology is the future. That's not a plan. That's a poster line. The officer has heard this 100 times that day alone. Let me give you an example. Imagine a student named Priya. She's applying for a master's in data science. She has good grades. She has the money. But in the interview, when the officer asks why data science, she says, because it has good job opportunities. The officer then asks, what kind of data problems interest you? She freezes. She hasn't thought about it. Rejection. Why? Because her plan wasn't real. It was borrowed from the internet. Second reason, wrong university choice. A lot of students choose universities based on agent suggestions, or because the fees are low, or because someone they know went there. But here's the truth. The visa officer is trained to spot mismatches. If you're a mechanical engineering student from a top university in your home country, and you're suddenly applying to a small college in a random town for hospitality management, that's a red flag. It doesn't make sense. They'll think you just want to enter the country, not actually study. I know a case, let's call him Ahmed. He had a bachelor's in civil engineering, great student, but he applied for a hospitality diploma at a college in Idaho. Why? Because the agent told him it's easier to get a visa there. In the interview, the officer asked him, why hospitality after engineering? He had no good answer. Denied. The course didn't match his background. The location made no sense. Everything screamed that he just wanted to get into the USA by any means. Third, poor interview answers. Look, the interview is short, maybe 3 to 5 minutes, but those few minutes decide everything, and students make two big mistakes. One, they over-rehearse and sound like robots. Two, they panic and say the wrong things. Both are deadly. Let me explain. When you memorize answers word by word, you sound fake. The officer can tell. They've done thousands of these interviews. They know when someone is reciting, and the moment they sense you're not being genuine, they start doubting everything else you say, your intentions, your documents, everything. On the other hand, some students get nervous and accidentally say things that hurt them. For example, the officer asks, do you have relatives in the USA? The student says no, even though their cousin lives in Texas. Later, it comes up somehow, and now the officer thinks you're hiding things. Or worse, the officer asks, will you come back after your studies? And the student hesitates or says something like, maybe, I'm not sure yet. That's it. Rejection. Because the F1 visa is a non-immigrant visa, you have to convince them you will return home. Fourth, unclear financial story. Everyone thinks, I have money in the bank, so I'm fine. But it's not that simple anymore. Officers want to know where the money came from. Is it your family's savings? Is it a loan? Is it suddenly deposited just before the visa interview? If you can't explain the source clearly and honestly, they will doubt you. Here's a real-life type situation. A student, let's call her Fatima, showed a bank statement with $50,000. Good amount, right? But when the officer asked, how did your father save this money? She said, he's a teacher. The officer checked the income documents. A teacher's salary in her country couldn't save that much in a few years. The numbers didn't add up. She didn't have a convincing explanation explanation. Denied, not because she didn't have money, but because the story behind the money wasn't clear. Fifth, gaps in education. If you finished your bachelor's in 2022 and you're applying for a master's in 2026, the officer will ask, "What were you doing for the past 4 years?" If you say, "I was preparing for this," or "I was working in a completely unrelated field," they'll question your real intentions. Are you genuinely interested in studying, or are you just trying to get a visa after other plans didn't work out? Sixth, overuse of agents. Now, I'm not saying all agents are bad, many are helpful, but some agents overpromise. They tell students, "Don't worry, we'll handle everything." They write the statement of purpose. They coach the student on what to say, word by word. The problem is, when the officer asks a question that's slightly different from what was practiced, the student has no idea how to answer naturally. The officer realizes immediately that someone else prepared everything, and that's a problem. They want to see that you, the student, understand your own plans and goals. Have you ever thought about how much pressure students are under during these interviews? Tell me in the comments where you are applying from and what worries you the most. I want to know your story. Now let me share 3 more real-life type examples so you understand this even better. First case. A student from Pakistan, very bright, got admission to a computer science master's program, but the officer noticed something. He did his bachelor's in the same field from a well-known university in Pakistan. So the officer asked, "Why don't you do your master's there? Your country has good programs too." The student said, "USA education is better." That's not enough. The officer needed to hear specific reasons, like, "This university has a specialized program in artificial intelligence with labs I can't access back home," or "The professor I want to work with is a leader in this research area." But he didn't have those details. Rejection. Second case. A student who had money but couldn't explain it properly. Her father owned a small business. He showed business income, tax returns, everything. But in the interview, when the officer asked the student, "What does your father's business do exactly?" she said, "I don't know, some trading business." Red flag. If your family is funding your education with money from a business, you should at least know what that business does. It made the officer think the documents might be fake or exaggerated. Third case. A student who copied answers from the internet. He prepared his visa interview by watching YouTube videos and reading forums. He memorized common questions and answers. But here's the thing. The officer asked him, "Why this university?" He said, "Because it has excellent faculty and state-of-the-art facilities." The officer said, "Can you name one professor you want to work with?" He couldn't. He had no idea. His answer was generic. It could apply to any university. That's when the officer knew he wasn't serious. Denied. So what should students do now? How do you actually prepare the right way? First, be very clear about your story. Why this course? Why this university? Why now? Why USA? These are basic questions, but your answers have to be personal and specific. Don't copy from the internet. Sit down and really think. What do you want to learn? How will it help your career back home? What makes this program different from others? Second, choose your course and university carefully. Make sure it matches your background. If you studied biology, don't suddenly apply for business unless you have a very good and logical reason. Make sure the university is credible. Check if it's accredited. Check if the program is recognized. Don't just go for the cheapest or easiest option. Third, be honest in the interview. If you have a gap in your education, explain it truthfully. If you have relatives in the USA, say yes. Don't try to hide things. Officers appreciate honesty. If you got rejected before, don't panic. You can reapply, but fix the mistakes first. Understand what went wrong. Get better documents. Prepare a better story. Fourth, understand your finances clearly. Know where your money is coming from. If it's a loan, have the loan documents ready. If it's family savings, know how your parents saved it. If someone is sponsoring you, be ready to explain who they are and why they're helping you. The clearer your financial story, the better. Fifth, practice your interview, but don't memorize. Practice speaking naturally. Practice explaining things in your own words. Record yourself. Listen to how you sound. Do you sound confident and genuine, or do you sound like you're reading a script? Big difference. Now let me clear up some myths because there's a lot of wrong information out there. Myth number 1, a strong bank statement guarantees your visa. No, it doesn't. Yes, you need to show you can afford your education, but money alone is not enough. They want to see that your entire profile makes sense. Your course choice, your background, your plans, everything has to fit together. I've seen students with $100,000 in the bank get rejected because their study plan was weak. Myth number 2, an agent can fix everything. Again, no. An agent can help you with paperwork, guide you on documentation, maybe even give you tips, but they cannot guarantee a visa. The decision is made by the visa officer based on your interview and your documents. If your story doesn't make sense, no agent can fix that. You have to own your application. You have to know your own plans. Myth number 3. Good English fluency alone is enough. English is important, yes. You need to communicate clearly. But fluency doesn't replace substance. I've seen students who speak perfect English get rejected because they didn't have a solid reason for studying in the USA. And I've seen students with okay English get approved because their intentions were clear and genuine. It's about what you say, not just how you say it. Now, I want to be very clear about something. This video is for information only. Visa rules and policies can change anytime. What I'm sharing here is based on patterns and common mistakes I've seen, but every case is different. Always check official sources. Go to the U.S. Embassy website. Talk to your university's international student office. Get accurate and updated information. Don't make decisions based only on what you see on YouTube or social media. Be smart. Be responsible. So, where does this leave you? Should you be scared? No. Should you be more careful? Absolutely. The F1 visa is not impossible to get. Thousands of students still get it every year. But the process is more serious than it used to be. Officers are looking deeper. They're asking tougher questions. They want to make sure you're a genuine student with genuine plans. If you're a student watching this, take a deep breath. This is not the end of the road. This is just a reminder to prepare properly. Know your story, know your goals. Be honest, be clear, and most importantly, apply only when you're truly ready. Not because everyone else is doing it, not because an agent is pushing you, but because you have a real plan and a real purpose. And if you're a parent watching this, I know how much you're investing in your child's future. I know the pressure you feel. Just make sure your child is ready. Make sure they understand what they're getting into. Support them, but also guide them to be realistic and prepared. If this video helped you, consider subscribing to the channel. We share honest, clear, and helpful information about visas and immigration. No hype, no false promises, just real guidance. Drop a comment below and let me know what topics you want me to cover next. And if you know someone who's planning to apply for an F1 visa, share this with them. It might help them avoid mistakes that could cost them their dreams. Stay informed, stay prepared, and stay hopeful. Your journey is just beginning. So, lambay na standard day na